America. Right now, calls for justice after cell phone video shows an Osseo County school resource deputy slammed a student to the ground. The family of the girl is speaking out tonight, saying that they're depressed by what happened this week at Liberty High School in Osceola County. Attention. A deputy be fired this afternoon. He's not allowed to
now continues to
remembering things.
Saturday.
I just did all
Sheriff for
we all are traumatized about it.
Yeah. Under the has worked for important in the account.
Hello, everyone. We are having some technical difficulties tonight, but that is all right. It's time for the Ella Johnson Show. This is Real Talk TV, where you can be on TV and talk real. Now, I have some awesome guests tonight. We have a conversation that needs to be had tonight on the Ella Johnson Show, because I think sometimes we get a little confused about the stuff that we need to pay attention to. Well, tonight we're going to talk about that. You just saw the video. That's one of the stories that we're going to talk about tonight. Taylor Bracey and that brutal slamming down on the ground that happened to her by a school resource officer, as well as what's going on in our government and our politics and what they're trying to slide through. We need to talk about it. Well, I have some amazing women that are going to help me do that tonight. I have Natalie Jackson and I have Lawanna Gelzer with me tonight. And I'm going to bring both of them to the stage. At least I thought I was. Listen, guys, you know what they say in church, the devil is busy. Okay. Let me try to get this right. I don't know what's going on with my stuff tonight, guys. I apologize. And I apologize to you guys for your patience. Do I have us all there now? Hello, ladies.
Hello.
I am so glad that you guys are so busy. So I am so honored that you were able to take time out and come to the Ella Johnson Show. Well, I have the beautiful Natalie Jackson there. She's hiding. There she is.
I'm trying to make sure where I'm moving the, but I'm not sure exactly where. Okay.
That's good.
I have Natalie Jackson here, guys. She is a high-profile civil trial attorney here in Orlando. She's a human rights activist. She's an author. She's known around here, involved in civil rights movements, and one of those being Trayvon Martin. Welcome to the show, Miss Natalie. Thank you so much for being here. You're so welcome. Then I have Miss Lawanna Gelzer, my girl. We go way back. Miss Lawanna is like the advocate. She's actually the president of the National at Work Central Florida chapter, and she's a human rights activist as well. And she just believes in bringing equity to our communities. So who better to talk about what we talk about than these women? Welcome to the So, are we ready to have a good conversation tonight, ladies?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Because you guys were sitting there looking like, is she gonna say something? I think I can hear you guys. Oh my goodness, it is just you know, this is a conversation we need to have, and look at this, right?
It's okay. We're working out.
Something like that.
Keep on going.
We will definitely.
It'll work out.
That's what I love about you. You're so positive and just so happy. Well, listen, let's dig in, because we have a lot to talk about. And I know, Natalie, I don't know if your plans have changed, but I know you only have half the show that you could be with us. So we wanted to, being the civil trial attorney here. Now, Senator Brands he has, you know, filed this legislation to, and it's really horrible what he's doing, because what he's saying is that the ex-felons, when they get out of prison, they don't deserve to have that minimum wage increase that we just all voted on to bring in. Now, talk to me about that. What does that mean for everybody that's watching? What does that really mean, Natalie?
Well, I mean, it's really an unconstitutional deprivation of rights and discrimination. So I don't know how he plans to get that passed. I didn't see it passing. I think that this is just him trying to appeal to that base that doesn't want to enfranchise people, and also to please the corporate people who didn't want this raise increase.
Because I mean, it's bad enough, right, Lawanna? It's bad enough for felons when they get out, because they're already faced with barriers. Trying to find employment, they have to find a place to live, and they're already looked upon as being a scar to the society. So I mean, I agree with you, Natalie. I don't think he's going to get it in, but the gall, and it's like, we need to know what's going on, because you know how sometimes when you go and vote and they have this paragraph about what you're voting on, and some people just I'm just going to be real, because I've had people tell me this, they do eeny, meeny, miny, mo, because they don't want to read it. It's so long. I'm just being real. I'm telling you the truth. They need to simplify it, because it's a paragraph, and then they change it around. It's very wordy, but nonetheless, they slide this stuff in. And if we don't talk about stuff like this on these shows, our community won't know what's going on. And we need to talk about this stuff and say, we fought very hard to get this minimum wage increased in Florida. We fought very hard to have somebody say who can get it and who can't get it. What are your thoughts about that, Lawanna?
First of all, the secret when it comes to amendment, if amendments are orchestrated by the people, you vote yes. If they are put on the ballot by corporation, legislators, it's a strong possibility it's going to benefit the very, very small group, the wealthiest people. So if you're never sure about an amendment, don't leave it blank. Just vote no. Vote no.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Just vote no.
Vote no on the amendment. Because if you don't vote, it's the 60% who vote. So if you leave it blank, that's like voting yes for it. So never leave it blank. So if you're not sure about an amendment, vote no.
Okay. So it has to, how does it work though, Natalie? So he proposed it. Now what? What happens next?
I think Lawanna will be better equipped to answer that. What happens next, Lawanna?
Okay, it's got to get a similar bill must be filed in the Senate and the House, and then it must pass both the House and the Senate of the Florida legislature, and then the governor can sign it into law. However, like Natalie stated at the beginning, it's unconstitutional. So it's going to end up in the court system. And like she said, it was all about appeasing those individuals. How you going to tell me as a business person I can discriminate against somebody and pay one $15 an hour and the other one $14 an hour? You can't tell people to do that. You can't do it in government. It's unconstitutional. It's equal rights for everybody. So it's pathetic what we beginning to see. And I always just go back and equate some of these bad ideas and some of these bills that people are writing. I say, just look at January 6th and see what half of America thinks and believe that they can do because of white privilege. And so it's simple to me. It's not, it can pass, but it's unconstitutional. And he's going to work up. And if he don't, the people need to vote him out. But I want people to find the energy to fight for something else. Fight for something else, because that right there is unconstitutional. It's ending up in the court system.
Exactly. That's why I always ask Lawanna when I need some information.
That's right.
Person.
I don't blame you. Yeah, she is just she has a wealth of knowledge for sure. Well, let me ask you guys this, because I know when it was time for the election, Florida had a little situation when it came to the voting of the people that were ex-felons, where they were mad at what was his name? The one that paid for all the fines. Then they came with the poll tax. Mm-hmm. Then they came with the poll tax. What does that mean? Either one of you, the poll tax, and how that affects our voting for us.
Yeah. So Lawanna, you want to take that?
It's a way of suppressing the vote. It's nothing new. Poll tax is happening for years. When they stripped some of the voting rights that was a part of the 1964 Voting Rights Act, it's allowing states to make it more difficult for people of color, people they feel like that will not go along with their agenda. So the clear factor is, I'm on both sides about getting my ex-felons to vote. I voted for it. I campaigned for it. But we need to ask ourselves, what percentage of people who are not ex-felons did you reach out to? So I saw a lot of people spend a lot of money. Almost $300 million was spent in the state of Florida, and we lost Florida to Trump.
We did. I was very shocked by that.
We've got to go back and analyze and see what's going on. And we cannot continue to do the same thing. Money is not always the key factor. It's educating voters and going to those hard to reach voters. To get a voter, not like myself or any of you, we're super voters. You don't have to contact us. We know we're going to go vote. But the average voter, you must contact 7 times. There was millions of voters who were never contacted that was already registered to vote. And if we had to spend just 50 million, I'll say 20 million, going to get those already registered voters to the polls, like Stacey Abrams is doing in Georgia. It's not always registering voters. It's getting the ones who already registered and reaching out and educating them. So I don't mind the money, but I wish we would spend it the proper way. We wouldn't have lost Florida. And if we continue to do the same pattern, and I've told the Democratic Party, this time I sat back and everybody got mad. I say, I smell a Hillary. I smell it. I can see it. I can see the patterns. So we need to make sure whatever party you belong to, that they spend the money in the communities what make the difference. And the bottom line is the data is there. So I saw $300 million come to this state and I said, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. A lot of people made good money, but it wasn't about the money. We didn't deliver Florida. Florida was not delivered.
So what do we need to do better? Our elected officials, what do we need to do? I know you just love to answer this question, Lawanna.
No, I'm gonna let you say it.
You can say whatever you want.
Legal questions. I'm waiting for the legal questions. You take these.
Because see, this is my personal opinion, but I'm gonna be honest with you. With some of our politicians, it's all about maintaining and keeping. We're in redistricting right now. We did the census. Watch and see if it's more important for some of our elected officials to draw their districts to make sure that they stay in office instead of, like the Republicans learned, don't put us all in one district. So if a district is 45, 50%, don't make it 80% Democrat. You know you're going to win. That 30% could go into another district. So we need to be very careful who's selected to be on the redistricting committees. If you're going, I still have redistricting information from 2010. I keep that because it shows a pattern. Yes, I keep information because when they draw those districts, we must make sure that they're drawing for the benefit of us maintaining and achieving a Democratic or a Democrat in the state. I mean, that's why we're not winning a lot of times, because we're so busy trying to stay in office and not realizing that we are not a purple state. There's more registered Democrats in the state of Florida than Republicans. So why do they have the House, the Senate, and the governorship? Take a lesson, wake up, make the changes. If you don't, you can call me in 2 or 3 more years, but I'm going to do it like this. Told you so. So
you're not going to say I told you so, are you?
So ask Natalie some legal questions. Go ahead.
All right. Well, we're going to jump over to Taylor Bracey because that's legal stuff. Because I don't want us to miss out on her knowledge. Now, I saw both of you ladies on that video. You guys were both at that press conference. So that's good. So tell me, Natalie, about this thing here. All right. Now, does it matter that he has never done anything before? From a legal standpoint, was that what he did?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? Like I said, it's been going in and out. Repeat that question, please. Can you hear me?
The officer, what he did to Taylor. Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
No. You can hear me. Okay, great. All right. The officer slammed Taylor down on the concrete. he's just a school resource officer. Was that too much?
It was definitely too much force. I think I heard you say in the beginning that he had never done anything like this before. We've had students call us and tell us that he's used excessive force. That we've had students say that he's pepper sprayed students, that he's grabbed them and thrown them on the ground. Whether or not, these students did not report that, but whether or not that those are just allegations, we have heard those from other students. But I think the evidence speaks for itself in this case, that he used excessive force on Taylor. There was no reason for him to throw her on the ground like the way that he did head first. He had her arms already behind her back. He could have just pulled her away. By throwing her on the ground head first, causing her to have a concussion, causing her to have blurry vision, headaches. She's also have some memory loss. She's seeing a neurologist. That way too much force.
That's way too much. Yeah. Went limp. I saw that. Just went limp after she hit that. Now they're saying, well, you guys slow your roll. You didn't see what happened before. Does that matter?
Well, I think that's what they always say to Black people when we see it with our own eyes, what happened. It really doesn't matter what happened before. The law says that it doesn't matter what happened before. The law judges law enforcement officers on the force that they use and whether or not it's proportional to the event. And here it was not. These were high school girls yelling at each other and squabbling, basically. The force was not necessary.
That's correct.
Because in some of the reports I saw that they said that she was not fighting. I think I heard Ben Crump say that there was just a verbal altercation. There was nothing. There was nothing really. Why are you so hyped?
Right.
Yeah. Wow. So do they have a
so hyped? You asked why was he so hyped? And Natalie, I mean, she's a part of the attorney for the family, but when you look at use of force metrics, she's correct. The use of force do not equal what? He was not attacked. His life was not threatened, anything. So therefore, why would you do that? And the key factor for me as a female, and I know Natalie, is going to be certain things she can't say, but I'll be honest and say, he didn't see a young lady. He didn't see a girl. He didn't see that.
Come on.
And so, that's what the problem is. They don't see our children as children, and he did not see a 125-pound Black female child.
Right. And there are statistics on how police officers and law enforcement see Black and brown children and the adultification of them. As young as 6 years old, they feel like it's okay to put them in handcuffs, to pepper spray them. And that is not, it really is not what should be in schools. There should be counselors in schools if there are things like this. Every school, it's just a part of growing up to have disputes with people. That's a part of growing up and learning how to mature and how to use dispute resolution. And that's what you learn in high school. I think everyone that I know has had a high school fight. And if we all were grabbed and thrown on the ground head first by grown men, I think that there would be a real problem, just like there should be, and just like there is in this case.
Well, it seems like the family and the community is outraged, as we should, because this type of stuff, it just keeps happening, ladies. I mean, how do we turn the corner on this? What do we do?
I think we turn the corner by instituting policies and making sure that the people who are allowing this culture, and let me go back, because sometimes there's enough policies and laws. It's just so when you're talking about a culture, you have to get rid of leadership that will change the culture. So in these cases, and what we're seeing around the country is that people are like, okay, well, guess what? We're not so concerned about this officer anymore. We're getting rid of the people at the top. And once you get rid of the people at the top, the culture changes. We've seen that with the state attorney's office here in Orlando, in Orange County and Osceola. Now that we've had a Black female, Aramis Ayala, and now Monique Wardell, we're seeing a culture change in how they deal with people. And that is so sometimes to have a culture change, you have to get rid of those politicians that allow this. You have to get rid of the heads of these organizations that allow this culture and tell them, we have a zero tolerance policy against you. And many times they're easier to fire than the police officers, because the police officers have Bill of Rights and they have a police union. Politicians don't, and neither do the chiefs. The chiefs usually serve at the leisure of the mayor and the city council.
And you must add one other thing, because I have the stats up, but she's right. 70% of all arrests in our school system of females are Black girls. They're criminalizing children behavior, the behavior of children, disorderly contact, talking back. I'm upset today. It's not. We need to all just ask ourselves one question: the interpretation of the law from the Parkland shooting. It said to have school resource officers. It did not say they needed to be police officers or deputies. Certain counties do not have that. And certain counties like Seminole County don't have that. And if they come in, when you allow the police in, then you bring in what, Natalie? The Bill of Rights and the qualified immunity. You are subject to their rules and regulations.
Right. Wow. And another thing is the criminalization, like Lawanna said, the school to prison pipeline is a very real thing. So statistics show that once a child is arrested once, their likelihood of being arrested again it's three times the amount of someone who's arrested once. And many times you're having these kids who are being arrested for disorderly conduct in school, for getting into minor fights. I'm not talking about with weapons. I'm not talking about, these are just fights that you have, and they're being arrested and charged misdemeanors for these cases. And they're getting kicked out of school, going to alternative schools because of this. Once you get into an alternative school, your likelihood of graduating high school drops tremendously. If you drop out of high school, then your likelihood of turning to a life of crime increases. And this is a pipeline, and it's happening to our Black girls at a way, and boys too, but specifically the girls that we're talking about, because it's happening to them at a disproportionate rate to little white girls. And let me tell you, I went to a majority white high school. They fight just as much as we fight in high school, but they're not adultified. They're seen as someone who needs counseling.
Yeah.
As someone who needs help in anger management. Our girls are seen as criminals. In fact, one of the young ladies who testified to the school board, she said as a brown girl, she feels as though when she has police officers in school, she's no longer a student, she's a juvenile. And that's very telling.
And did the deputy, Sheriff Lopez referred to Taylor as a juvenile in his press conference? His first press, the juvenile, she all right.
And these are students.
He referred to her as a juvenile.
And to say that she's all right when she was knocked out cold, to me, that was such a disregard of how the family feels, how she feels.
Absolutely.
To say a kid is all right, I would not even say that if I saw that, because we know the long-term ramifications of having concussions just from football players.
Yes. Yes. It's true.
So right now in the case where we are now, he's been charged, correct? Or no?
No, he has not been charged. He's been put on paid leave from the school.
Wow. Do they usually get charged in these types of cases?
No, they don't. Police officers usually never get charged for anything that they do. So, that's one of the reasons that Ben Crump and I and civil rights lawyers around the country, because they don't get charged and we have no say in whether or not they get charged, since that's a criminal issue with the state. That's many times why we are bringing these civil lawsuits against them.
Right. Good for you. I'm glad that we have you in the room because you're a strong Black woman. I'm so glad, because someone has to speak up for them, and I know that, other people watching this broadcast, that may not look like us, may not understand, well, why are they always talking about this stuff? Every time we turn around, it's George Floyd, it's Ahmaud Arbery, it's always something. And they don't understand that this is something that we have dealt with. Just because they're being seen now on videos doesn't mean it just started. This has been going on for a long time, you know. And
well, I would say
are we making progress?
I'll say any person who's not a person of color that's looking at this and wondering why are they always talking about this, they're not looking at the television and they're not seeing who is being harmed by the police. It's Black and brown people. We saw the police escort people out of the Capitol who killed a police officer with weapons. And we saw them escorting them down the stairs, making sure that they're okay. We saw the police give Dylan Roof a cheeseburger after he shot up a Black church. We see this boy, Kyle Rittenhouse, who shot up and killed protesters out on bond, having a beer with his mom. That's not how our children are treated. Taylor was a high school student in school having a squabble with a girl in school. There was no physical violence. And she gets thrown on her head to the point where she's knocked out cold by this police officer with a concussion. That's how our children are treated. So if anyone who is not Black or brown asks me that question, I wonder, I really have to look at what they are watching. What are you seeing? Because I'm only seeing it disproportionately affect the Black and brown communities. And that's the community that I'm in. So of course, that's what you're going to hear me talk about.
Thanks,
Natalie.
Thank you.
She said that. She said that.
And it's
girl, we can wrap that up on a sermon.
It's never stopped. We've been
Yes, we have. And if it hasn't happened to you personally, it hasn't happened to me personally, but when it happens to my community, it happens to me. Now, you just touched a nerve when you talked about the Capitol, because I am floored at how we cannot understand why Trump needs to be impeached. And I wanted to ask an attorney this. I know we impeached him, but can he go to trial even though he's just a regular citizen now, Natalie?
I believe that he can. I think that the rules are clear. And I think that the lawyers who have viewed the rules that brought this impeachment has made it quite clear. He was impeached while he was a president. So of course he can go to trial. I mean, you can compare it to someone who was in a corporation who committed corporate crimes and then they got fired from the corporation. Do they not have a trial? Do they just get to go home and say, okay, it's done? I don't think so.
They'll find you. I don't care if they find you in the nursing home. They'll find you. Yes.
Right. This argument is a red herring.
Yeah.
And a lot of those legislators that are part of the management team, they are constitutional lawyers. They know what the Constitution says. He was impeached in office. They're just finishing up the process. So they wouldn't have been turning in an 85-page document compared to Trump's attorneys turning in 14-page. Did you see? I'm not the best speller, but I think I can spell United States. They misspelled on the first page. So clearly they want you to believe that, but I don't think they will be wasting our tax dollars or anything like that. They can follow the process. Let's look at Flint. How long ago did that happen? Didn't they just not recently charge the governor and other state officials for what happened during Flint with the water crisis? They're not in office now, but they're charging them now.
That's true. Well, of course, they're trying to make it fit Trump and make sure that he's okay. But I am definitely for it. I think that this is something that we should all rally around. It's just so much division. I mean, just the whole idea that Trump is out of the White House. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm glad, but you still feel the stink. You know how it is when someone, passes gas and they walk by, but you still feel it. Right? I just couldn't think of anything that quick. But you just still feel it. And it's not a good feeling. And we have to find a way to, I know we breathed that day. We let out a nice breath of fresh air that day when we had the inauguration on January 6th. I know we were, what day was it? January 20th. I'm sorry. I'm getting to something. I had the 6th in my head. But on the 20th, we felt a little better, but there's still what's going on with the Republican Party right now. I mean, what if you had to just give it one word, what would it be, Natalie? I mean, it's crazy. But
I mean, that's really it. It's self-destruction.
Yeah.
It's destruction of the party. It is they've given control of their party to a militant white a militant racist. I mean, it is just it's sad to see, you know, that
it
the whole
really
party.
is. It really is. I know they can't feel good. I know they have to be embarrassed. Yeah.
And I have to go pick someone up from basketball practice. So thank you for having me, Ella. I really appreciate it. Lawanna, you are my queen.
I know. Thank you so much, Natalie. I want you to come back so we can have a better discussion. I'm going to do a talk show in an actual studio where we're actually in there. And I want to bring you guys back when we get ready to do that.
Look, after COVID and I get my virus shot. Yes, ma'am.
All right, dear. Thank you. We'll see you later, dear. All righty.
Hi, Natalie.
Okay. So here.
All
right. So she's gone.
About Trump 45. I'm just going to be honest with everybody. Oh, we had the conversation when I really felt like he was going to win. I was at the convention, the Democratic convention in Philly, and I went there, and I was not a delegate, but I just went because I wanted to, and I went and listened to. But what I got to see was arrogance. The way that Bernie Sanders delegates were treated. You needed Bernie Sanders' 13 million voters. You had to compromise and understand that there were some problems with the party. So don't tell us, come on board and just go along with your agenda. So yes, Hillary got more votes than Trump, but she didn't win the Electoral College. But in my household and around with a lot of friends, we've had the conversation. I think the world needed to see, and we needed to see how deep racism, systemic racism was in this country, and that we had not made major progress like we thought. It was an awakening for me. Yeah. And so when I would come home, what Trump done did today, it was not shocking. It was preparing me. What can we be ready for? I knew he was not going to win a second term, but I wanted to make sure that we don't forget that by his actions and what he did, we got to see half America, and that 7+ million people voted for this man. So know. People like him. So you need to look at your neighbor and look around and go, wait a minute, it could have been them. Yeah. And you need to ask yourself, that mindset is still there. Even though he's not in office, that mindset and the way they think, that's why when somebody want to argue with me about Miss Taylor, I was about to say Brianna, but Miss Taylor Bracey and other individuals that I'm working with, I just go and say, oh, there she go again. Al Sharpton want to be. Why she? I'm not none of that. All I do is write January 6, 2021. One day I came back. Why are you writing that day? Well, if you don't know, I'm not going to respond because quite obvious you are not capable of understanding what that means.
Right.
That's everything in America. We got to see, the world got to see how ugly some people are and how they got away with beating to death a Capitol Police with a fire extinguisher. You beat him to death.
And nobody's talking about it. Like, are we not looking for his killer? Are we not putting out awards and gifts for, oh, hey, listen, we're going to put $50,000 out. Anyone can give us anything. Why aren't we talking about that?
Because you're seeing white privilege. You're seeing the double standards. And that's what everybody needs to understand. So I tell everybody, y'all, like the one African-American man that was in the Capitol, the little young man, he was in there looking like he was lost. He didn't know he got caught up. They probably paid him some money. Who knows? He's in jail with no bond. The rest of them want to go on vacation. They like, why? I gotta have organic food. What is this, Trump?
Yeah, I know the guy with the horns. He doesn't want. Yeah, the one with the horns. He only wants organic food, and that's what they're giving him. Like, are you serious?
Oh,
Really?
They've done it, and we need to keep seeing that and remind them we see you. So when they come after you, there you go again. Somebody said something because one of my campaigns for my environmental work is I can't breathe. Why would you bring that? What that got to do with this? Okay, when you in pollution, what do you say? When you in bad,
right?
So what? I don't understand why you bringing George Floyd in. I said, first of all, George Floyd ain't the first person to say I can't breathe. Why you that? Eric Gardner's a whole lot of people that said that. So what's your problem?
Guilt. Well, that's what that was.
Racism and it's an environmental injustice justice grant. It's about racism. And so I don't know what your problem is. So they just don't want people to call them out for their bad behaviors and say, I see you. I just go, have a wonderful day. God bless you. And move on, because we don't need to argue with them because you're not going to change their mindset.
Absolutely. Yeah. I learned that the hard way. I have.
You better be fair. They're going to come back. They were marching while we were doing the press conference. They was on Orange Avenue marching down from the City Hall to Lake Eola, about 75 with Trump flags and all of that stuff. They're still out there.
Wow.
Yes, don't let your guard down. Better stay woke. Better stay woke, people.
So let's talk about Taylor, because she's 16 years old. I know I had some people there asking, this officer did this. Yes, Lisa Hamilton, he did. This officer, I guess, got involved. We didn't see what happened before the video. However,
can I clear that up?
Yes, please.
Ask yourself, if there was a video of something that would criminalize the behavior of Taylor, would you have not seen it already? Would it have not been released?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's no video to show that she did anything wrong. That's why you haven't seen it. That's what we need to clearly understand. When somebody comes, well, I need to see the other video. Okay, then let me know. I don't need to conversate with you. Let you be over there. I'm not trying to convince anybody that's weighed up their mind that it's okay to lock a 16-year-old, 125-pound young lady, arms behind her. So, because when we are getting thrown, what do? We use our arms to break our fall. Right. That was an illegal move in the first place.
Yes.
Because you don't do that. So you could have killed this girl.
Yeah.
And you need to ask yourself, why did that deputy feel it was okay to use that type of force? Or somebody said, I'm tired of y'all picking on me. Leave me alone. I've had enough of y'all. That don't make sense.
You saw, and Lawanna, you saw how when he slammed her down, and he was so adamant about getting her in handcuffs. Where is she going? She is out. And you handcuff her? Why not get her some help at that point?
We're trying to finish everything. No. And did you not know the other officers standing in front of the camera? Did you not see one of the teachers or somebody walk by trying to block the camera? Because they don't want nobody to see that.
And imagine if the person who recorded this we would not have seen it.
We would have not seen it, and she would have gotten slammed, and they would have just said, well, she was fighting. Yeah. But the schools have cameras. Why the cameras of the school hasn't been released?
That's a very good point.
Yeah. Ask yourself why. We're gathering more evidence. We'll gather the evidence. They're gathering more evidence to see if we need to charge Taylor with a crime. What's the crime? She never touched the officer. So what's the battery?
That's a very good point. They're waiting to see what they're going to charge her with? No, say it isn't so.
That's the statements that the sheriff is making. I think we've been around long enough, Miss Johnson, to understand that there's a script. and they're following the script. And the script is to turn the tides against us. Make sure everybody thinks there's something else out there. And I always tell people, if they had it, they would have done released it. Because right now that video has gone worldwide.
Yes, it
and
has.
nobody is going to believe what you got to say. I was at the school board meeting this past Tuesday, on the 2nd, and I was like, Osceola County hands are not clean. I having teachers send me information on things that has happened before that. Another young man got choked out by a police officer, a deputy in the school, and he was 13. I mean, they have other incidents. We need to ask why all of a sudden they worried about this, because this went viral. As their family had just moved to Ponciana. I shouldn't have said, well, it does, everybody know now probably. In September of last year, she was a new student.
Wow.
She's a new student. So we have to ask ourselves, why is it so important? That's why they don't need to be in our school, because I told the school board, by you doing that, you allowed them to bring in every rule, everything, their unions, everything to protect the bad behavior of that deputy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and that's where the problem is.
Money is paying, the school board is paying for him to be there, but he's not an employee. He does not have to comply. If it was a security guard, like in other county schools, and he did that, not only would he been fired, he would have been charged with a crime by now.
Yes.
But because he's a deputy, we need to get them out of our school. No more police in our school system. The law does not say that they have to be police. Because a police officer, law enforcement officer, all they know to do is what? Arrest.
Arrest.
They're not trained to be able to escalate and work with children. That's not their specialty.
Yep.
So
I agree.
Why would we put them in schools with our children that the only thing they know how to do is put handcuffs on a 6-year-old child because she's upset and have a temper tantrum and have her arrested? Or she's having a temper tantrum in Rochester, New York. You already got her in handcuffs and you pepper spray a 9-year-old child? Oh, wait a minute. These are all Black girls. Do we have to keep going?
And people don't understand why we're outraged. And I agree with you, Lawanna. I know you see so much of this, so much more than I do. So I know why you're so passionate about human rights. I see why. Because when I saw this, I couldn't stop watching it. I could not believe it. I'm like, these are children. She's 25 pounds?
25 pounds.
The damage that you've done to her. She has memory loss.
Damage that has been done to her.
And you can't, how do you give her back that? How do you pay that? You can't pay that.
You took her innocence away from being She will always, but they want us to fear them. That's how they don't want us to see them. You're supposed to protect and serve. No, let's be honest. Everybody know where the slave patrol came from. That's how the police came. They don't see us as young people, children. They see us as property. I said you see us as a commodity, money. That's why they build prisons based on 3rd grade Black children population. That's how many beds we need to have. School to prison pipeline is real. They make money off of criminalizing children's behavior. So wake up, everybody. Don't keep telling me, well, she's just a bad little girl, and you know what she probably talking back to the teacher does not equal to a concussion. Talking back to a teacher does not equal to being arrested at the age of 6. And if they keep trying to justify it, they the racists that they are. Don't try to work with them or talk to them. I don't argue with them. I just laugh and say, I see you, and move on. You're not going to convince everybody that this is the right thing to do. You're not. So don't waste the energy trying. Find the people that believe in what you're saying and doing and work with them. Leave them on the sideline miserable because that's what they are. They're miserable individuals.
Do we fight amongst ourselves too much, Lawanna?
Fight in what way?
Meaning, difference of opinion? We're divided. Do you think that we're more divided? I'm talking about as our culture, our race. Are we more divided now than we were, say, back when Martin Luther King led his movement? Are we different? How do we compare to them?
Different in that they had less resources than we do. Less money, less technology, less everything. And yet we're still talking about the things that Dr. King did. So I don't know if the question is, do we not get along? Because I will remember the boycott, the Birmingham bus boycott. There were several pastors that went in and said that it was okay. They got a few dollars and said, we're in the boycott. And they weren't a part of it. So you got to understand, there's people who sell you out for a dime or two. So what if they're African American or Caucasian? It don't matter to me. I look at their actions. So that is a reality. Then we have a lot of people who believe in the cause, don't know what to do, or I call them the Facebook activists. They talk a good game. They out there. They taking the pictures and the stuff. I'm out here marching for the people. Then I invite them to the next city council meeting or budget hearing meeting. No shows. No shows. No shows. They're not talking about policy. So are we divided? No, we just have a different group of people who believe in doing things differently. And that's why I always say, give me just a small group of people and let's get to work. Because honestly, if we're trying to convince everybody to see it through our eyes, that'll never happen.
Not gonna work.
And then if they are, why can't y'all all get along? We will not. We're different. We come from different backgrounds. We're not going to always agree. My mom and I do not always agree. But the key factor of that is we respect each other. Mm-hmm. And that is the question I always go back to answer. Do you respect what I bring to the table? And so I have learned I'm not going to fight. I just did an interview with another TV station, and they asked me a question. Well, this literally about the same question. Why do you keep doing what you're doing? I said, because I'm a child of God, and that's what God gave in my heart to do. I said, but I have learned when people don't want you at their table, you're on their menu. Ooh. And so I have learned that if you don't want me at your table, I will not be on your menu. So I've created my own table, and I'll invite everybody to come on and join in, and let's get to work. So we can't allow people, black politicians, white politicians, some clergy, to make a decision. Well, we know we're the gatekeepers. We know what's best for the community, but never on the front line for nothing. But got their hand out.
Okay.
I got the community. Don't worry, I know this bang giving me a hard time. I got the community.
You're working it out though, girl. You're working it out though.
No, I got it. And I mean, it's like you need to ask yourself, why is it certain people that you see talking about, well, we're going to have a meeting with the police and we're going to sit down and try to come to a conclusion. And we need y'all to come in our community because we can't have all of this crime. And then I had somebody talking about black on black crime. I said, crime is crime. And 76% of all crime, especially murders, are committed by white people. Get your stacks right. Get your figures right. But because we're black, it's in our community. We know about it. But when we allow the media and other people to tell you this narrative that is untrue and unfounded, but you don't check out for yourself, you're going to believe it. And when you believe it, I always tell everybody, hey, I got an island I need to sell you. Meaning you're falling for what people tell you. If you're not sure, go check it out for yourself.
Amen. I'm so
allow people to tell you stuff that will harm your community and you.
Yeah. I'm so glad. You know, I think our interview has definitely taken a different turn because there's so many things that we just needed to talk about because I believe our community is hurting, and I think it's hurting for a lot of different reasons. And I think we're confused. I do. I think we're confused. We don't know what to believe. We don't know who to believe. We're watching TV, we're watching Facebook. We don't take the time out to try to learn for ourselves. Go to an actual city council meeting like what you said. Come out to these events so you can see what these politicians are proposing. Like if we didn't do shows like this to let people know, hey, listen, you know, if you're going to prison, let me tell you what they're trying to do to you. They're trying to make it where you don't get that minimum wage. Now, we all know legally they can't do it because it's a violation of human rights. But nonetheless, it's good to be in the know so you know what legislation is being pushed through. Because if it gets legs, the next thing you know, we're back in slavery. And you're like, well, what happened?
Well, I'm going to ask everybody, what's going on now to me is modern day slavery. I never got my 40 acres in a mule, but what I'm saying to everybody is, if you're not, first of all, with COVID, you don't even have to go to a city council meeting. You can watch it online.
Absolutely.
You don't have to the legislation is getting ready to start in March. Just register for bills to be sent to you. Understand what civic engagement is. Understand this, that I remind Mayor Dyer all the time. This ain't no dictatorship. This is democracy.
That's right.
You work for me.
That's right.
And that's the problem. So what we need to do is stop giving away our power.
Say that again. Yes.
Stop giving it away. Don't give it away and don't believe everything you don't have to believe me. I always tell people you don't have to believe everything you can go check it out. And I'm still learning. If you saw my desk, I got piles everywhere trying to decipher certain things, what battle I'm going to fight, because you can't fight them all.
Right.
You cannot fight them all. I have to rank. I can do something here. I can do something here. Oh, I can't do this. I'm going to send this to somebody else. Y'all work on this. So we need to understand it's a lot of work to be done, but if you are on the sideline, stay there. Because at this time, we're too far in the movement to go back to trying to bring everybody along. If you're not willing to do something to educate yourself, then I say this, and I mean no disrespect. Don't pick up the phone and call me when you need help. I didn't say you had to march. I said something to educate yourself. That means read an article, do something. Do something. But don't depend on a handout or somebody to bring you and spoon feed you everything. That's not going to happen.
Right.
And to me, I think that's why our community is, as far as the movement, has struggled. But also the generation Zing, and not even that's it. They've never lived through desegregation. They don't understand what's the problem. They fear this. And that is the group that gave Biden a chance. The Super Bowl, we were going to vote no matter what. We know we want Trump, but there were other candidates. That's why Hillary lost Florida. That was a third-party candidate. I know people didn't want to vote for Hillary that voted for that person. You need to ask yourself, that's my vote. And I don't have to vote for you if you didn't earn it. So you need to start understanding Biden is doing the right thing with these executive orders, because it's not about always, well, we're going to meet in the middle and we're going to compromise. Did the Republicans, when they was in charge of everything, did they compromise? No. They passed the biggest tax break.
Yes, they did. For the wealthy. Yeah. Yep. They took the
filibuster and took it away. They did everything to maintain control and power. So give me my $1.9 trillion bailout.
Yes.
Give me what I'm saying is you can't work with Biden's not looking to be reelected. Biden is 76 years old. He'll be 80. He's not. Get it done. Because the people who put you in this time said, We need you to go back and fix all of that mess he done did, fix it, and show true leadership.
So let me ask you a question. So let me ask you, Lawanna, you know how he has been dead set on I want to work with the Republicans. I want to sit down with them and talk with them. But they're not thinking about him. They're like, listen, it's almost like, I understand he wants to work with them. I understand he wants to make everything bipartisan and let's sit down and come together. But when you see that they're just like, they're not thinking about working with you, at what point do you say, you know what? We got to do what we got to do?
I think they did that. It's called it's diplomacy. I would work with anybody. I would, if I didn't like Buddy, I wouldn't come to city council. I wouldn't do certain things and say, but then I come back and say, see, I told y'all. So it's diplomacy to meet with them. He's the president. Let's hear so they said we could do 600 billion, right? And he's 600 billion, I'm sorry. And he was like, he met with them for 2 hours. He came back out the next day saying, we moving forward.
We moving forward. I love that move. I was very happy to see that.
So, you know, I would have done the same thing. He has the votes. So it doesn't matter if they get on board or not.
Exactly.
But it's called diplomacy. And as a president, he did the right thing. Now, everybody can see the Republicans, we got Scott, what's the other one name? He's getting ready to get the re-election. I can't Hispanic. Rubio. He's up in 2022. So we got these two Republicans. They gonna vote against it. So that should let you know right there, they don't care about 40% of all Black businesses never coming back. They don't care about you. So you're gonna get amnesia come time to go vote for them.
Exactly.
Showing that, you know what? I don't know what else to say. I don't know how much time we got. They're showing you your true colors.
Right.
So, you know, I've been telling everybody, I ain't drinking that red Kool-Aid for Jim Jones. So either you're going to go with him or you're not. But diplomacy is something I expect out of every good leader. And if you don't have it, then you have not learned. That was one thing Trump did not have. He was a bully.
Yeah. Amongst many other things. Yeah.
Narcissistic. He's a liar. You lost the election. Ain't nobody robbed you nothing. The insurgent on January 6th, you told them people to do that.
Yes, he did.
You told them people to do that.
I'm so glad we're talking about that because, you know, we could take as much time as we need. You know, I'm paying for this show for me to have it whenever I want to get off. But listen, I'm so glad we're talking about this. This interview has definitely taken a totally different turn because we need to talk about January 6th. Trump was on the mic. Now, Lawanna, they said that, well, now he said, let's have a peaceful. He did mention the word peaceful in his speech, but at the same time, Lawanna, he also said, let's go down there. And basically what he's saying is he knew what he was doing by sending them to the Capitol. He knew what were they going to do there? If they just wanted to be at a rally, just stay where they were. Why did you have to go to the Capitol?
He incited a riot. He knew. But the point is, with the investigation, how many of them had already been to the Hill, had been escorted through the Capitol, knew what certain people. So there was a coup. This was a planned coup.
Yes.
They knew exactly what they were doing. And some of them were in it. Some of the Capitol Polices were in it. They looked the other way. Yep. Here's what it is. So you get to see that you got police officers, like we've said, that are racist.
But you know what, Lawanna, let's talk to the Caucasians who say, well, I didn't have slaves. I don't have anything to do with what you guys' problems are. Why are you mad at me? Why do I always, they turn themselves into a victim. What do we say to those people?
First of all, you benefited from my folk parents and my people, harsh, not free labor. So let's just be honest. If you were worth $100 in the 1800s, your family, your wealth, the land, you got that inherit. We never got anything. We didn't get anything for all of those years building this country. So you have a financial head start on me. So don't tell me your family didn't have slaves or you didn't have. No, I'm not a slave, but racism, the Jim Crow laws, all of the things to minimize what I could do as a human being. Women couldn't vote. Black people couldn't vote true to 1964. White women got the right to vote before black men got the right to vote. Let's just look at all of those gains that you had. Now, we're getting ready to start the race, but you've been running with the baton for 300 years, and you won't catch up. So you're benefiting from that, and that is what people need to understand. And then you put laws like, if I am a criminal, I can't make $15 an hour, so you can hold me down even more. That is the systemic racism, which has led from slavery and what you're saying. So you might have not owned, but you're benefiting from it. You're benefiting from it. It's so you can say whatever you want. And you can say, well, you had a black president. And what that got to do with the price of butter? That's what I tell everybody. And that don't erase anything. Because if it did, that deputy wouldn't have slammed Miss Taylor on her head.
Right.
We have these school resource officers, these police in our school putting disorderly conduct on these our black girls. So you can say whatever you want to, but the stats and the facts say something else. And I'm like I tell everybody, I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid. I don't believe nothing you say. I'm just looking at what. So you're telling me all that I've seen, the knee on George Floyd, and
everybody saw that. So there's no.
Everybody saw that.
That's right.
His crime was only thing was he was a black man, and the police officer did not value his life. He saw no human being. He had no humanity in him. That is what we're dealing with today. And so if you can't see it, I don't have the energy to deal with you. Because baby, life is too short and you are irrelevant. But if you get in my way, be ready for a fight. Not physical, but just step out. But I'm not gonna let you bring that negativity and false information into my realm. I'm not going to let you try to tear me down. I'm not going to let you try to play the victim. You ain't no victim. Don't argue with me. You ain't no victim. How you a victim? And,
right.
I never did. Do you have a highest credit score than I do? And we got the same income? Wait a minute. Do you get paid more money than I do? We work on the same job. Wait a minute. The most educated people in America is black women, but we make less than what a high school dropout man makes, average-wise. Wait a minute. So tell me if there's not systemic racism in America. It is. So you can come on and try me or go find somebody else and try to convince them that you're not no racist. If you have to tell somebody you're not a racist, most likely you are racist.
Now, Lawanna, you're in a lot of circles. Do you ever feel that you have to water down your message because you're in the big house, you're in the corporate office, you're in the corporate setting, you're with all these I know you probably don't because you're just real like that, but I'm talking about other people. Do you think that some people feel intimidated sometimes because they feel like, oh, I can't say that around these guys. They write my paycheck. I'm not gonna be like
yes.
And I will walk. I'm talking about
that's
other
why I don't work in corporate America anymore. I don't. I am financially. COVID has really taken a hit on my businesses. Absolutely, but I'm a child of God. I'll make it. If I have to move, sell my house, do something, I've accepted that. I've accepted whatever God has for me to do, he'll take care of me. And I think with me, I've gotten past the materialistic stuff of life.
Me too.
So the most important thing is good health and family. So yes, they say here she come again. She loud, she obnoxious, she thinks she know everything. Absolutely do not. So you know that characterization.
I love you because you're the same person from the day.
You know, we shake our head and stuff.
Yeah. You're the same person from the very first day I met you until this very moment. You love your community. You love your people. You're real. And I love that about you. I love how you fight for us. You know, I think that, you know, when you didn't win that election that you were in, I think that was part of the plan. I think I do believe that. I wasn't sad when you lost.
I'm gonna tell you, I've never expected to win an election, but that doesn't stop me from running. Because what do you always hear? She the most qualified person for the job.
Definitely that.
I never stopped moving, and I not stop working. So you need to ask yourself, why do they keep getting in office? There's other reasons. I mean, the city of Orlando runs its own election, but I'm not a quitter. And so I have not violated any laws. I don't have a problem falsifying documents to be in a race. I don't have to cover up sexual harassment on the company I'm supposed to be. You don't hear that about me.
No.
All you hear, she keeps running. And she thinks she knows everything. I keep running, and no, I don't think I know everything, but I know more than you do because I care about my community. So if you care, and I felt like you were doing a good job, I will support you.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you not to run, and I'm not going to stop running. I don't know what I'm going to do in the near future because everything keeps pulling me back to Washington, D.C. But I'm good right now, but if I live my life worrying about what people think of me, then they will be living my life and not me.
Right.
You cannot please everybody.
So what made you get involved with Taylor's story? I know that you're involved with that. What was it about this particular story that caught your attention?
It was not the first type of case. I know that I watched the video, was appalled. I called Natalie and I said, what's going on? And then that Thursday night, Natalie called and said, Ben wants to have a press conference. I just met with the family. Whatever, it was Wednesday, Thursday, it moved so fast. Mm-hmm. And I said, what do you need? And she said, I need you to do the press conference. And so put the press release together, find me a location, I'm the logistics person. So I knew we had to have it on property that belonged to the people, because everybody, let's go to the school. No, that's not where we go, because the schools, but you had people telling us where we needed to go. I said, let's go to the sheriff office, Ben sent the press release out. We had less than 48 hours to pull that together. We had a press kit. We had everything they needed. And it's always room for improvement, but people call and ask. We had other people saying that they were doing an event. I ain't got the energy to deal with that. Get the work done. Get the work done. So let's get it done. I mean, there's other things getting ready to happen. There's other people doing stuff. I say this, it's enough work for everybody, but at least be mindful to do something that don't hurt.
Right.
Per case. If you don't know the family, don't say nothing. If you don't know what the strategy is, keep your mouth. When you ask questions about Taylor, did I say anything? Or did Natalie talk? But overall about the stats and stuff like that, because that's what I do. But the interworkings and the strategy of that case, absolutely not. I'm not an attorney. I have no desire to be an attorney. And I'm not, but the problem is, if we keep it out there, here's the fact sheet about Taylor. She like this. We had all of that kind of stuff. She is a human being. Make sure we remember this was a girl.
Yes.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
She was a young girl, 125 pounds. So when people I'm waiting for this. Okay, keep on waiting, because I'm telling you, the truth is out there already.
Well, the video speaks for itself, and it just you can't stop looking. It's just like, really? Like, oh my gosh, we're not moving forward. We're not moving forward, Lawanna. I'm just gonna be real. We're not.
Well, I'm gonna be optimistic. I just feel like we have a community that is allowing people to put us down and classify us as if we're not human. And I am a human being. So with the last breath in my body, I'll be a fighter.
Yes, you
I'm
will.
just- So, but don't say I'm not discouraged sometimes. I'm looking at my desk. I'm discouraged right now. I know I have work to do and I've not done it. I'm discouraged, but I'll find a way. If I mean I got to pull an all-nighter, feel like I'm back in college.
Well,
whatever.
I just want you to know if you ever need me for anything, you know my number. You call me.
Boss lady, but it's just reorganization, putting everything together, looking at a few things. I just got one major survey I've got to get ready and a presentation and training for Saturday at 11 o'clock. I have to have it ready. I'll
You'll
get it
do
done.
it. You will.
I'll get it done. We always manage some kind of way.
Yes, we do.
So, honestly, I can tell you this, as a community, we need to just understand, stay woke. Stay woke. Unfortunately, Taylor would not be the last incident we're talking about. That is the problem. That is the problem. That is the problem. And if we don't understand until we get the deputies and this blue wall of silence out of our communities talking about policing us, it will be another young man shot or young girl shot or somebody shot through the window. These police just don't think they can get away with it because they have.
I was just going to say that. It's because they have been getting away with it. And until we figure out how to make them not get away with it, like you said, she's not going to be the last one. Well, I pray for her. I think about her so much because I know that had to hurt. And I know that she probably replays that in her mind over and over that day.
Remember. See, that's the thing you didn't understand. Her parents picked her up and she woke up in the counselor's office. She don't remember, and they never told the parents that she was slammed down and unconscious. They didn't know until the next day, Wednesday, when the video came out.
Oh. Now that's not good.
I can say that because the mother said that at the press conference.
That's not good. Because that means they were trying to hide it.
Incident report. I'm a child care provider. If something like that happened, I had to have an incident report.
Of course.
Where's the incident report? Where's anything? Who was there? She had reported them for bullying her. So the truth will come out. And the strategy is just make sure we stay. If somebody say, I'm looking for something else, just start saying there is nothing else. If it is, it's somebody's cell phone showing her walking out of the office. But there was no footage of a fight.
I agree with what Natalie said. There's nothing that she could have done that would have warranted that. Nothing.
It's not. It's illegal.
Yeah. There was nothing. I think he just was
like
upset.
Him walking up to me. I'm walking down the street and slamming me to the ground. You have to have a reason for using certain use of force. He went straight to a level that is like when somebody done shot at you or what to tell you that, or have a knife, because you did a move to disarm her if she had a weapon. She had no weapon. Pulling somebody's arms behind them and locking them is like, it's not keeping you from fighting. Because if you were trying to keep me from fighting, you would have wrapped your arms around me and they would have grabbed in the front. You would have never pulled my arms behind me and made me helpless and then slammed me to the ground. So
yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to get out of this one. I mean, the video speaks volumes, and
he's still at work. He's not at that school anymore right now, but he's still getting paid.
And that I have a problem with. He's still getting paid.
Bill of Rights. That's the Bill of Rights. That's the police union. That's the Osceola County, Orange County government. All of them fought for allowing them to bring these officers in our school system and bring the rules and regulations to protect their bad behavior. That's their fault. So the Orange County School Board, they got the 6-year-old arrest and all of that. The Osceola, that's why y'all need to be calling on the Osceola School Board. Call them. The sheriff, they fine because they was in their rights.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that's what I want to end the show with. What can we what can the people do? What everybody that's watching this broadcast, because it's okay, well, Lawanna, I want to get involved. What can I, as a regular citizen, do to help this situation? What can I do?
Call the Osceola County and say that we need to get these officers out of the school immediately. Review the memorandum of agreement. Get a copy of it. If you don't have it, you can request it and read it and say, maybe we should try something else, that they don't need to be disciplined, or ask for additional training. But the next school board meeting, attend virtually. Just see what they do when it comes to stuff. Just to find something that's dear to your heart. COVID, why African Americans not getting the vaccine like everybody. Find something that you can do and get involved in. And if you really still need to get involved, you want me to give my phone number? Call me. You want me to give my phone number?
Yes, give him your phone number.
Okay, 407-953-5599. It's enough work for each and every one of us to do. But just start with something that's dear to your heart. If you have young children, go to attend a school board meeting virtually first. And then if you see something on the agenda that go, oh, I didn't know they were doing this, then you can phone in and talk virtual. You don't have to go down there.
And I think
know
that's
your
very,
rights.
yes.
Just learn your rights. Everybody, legislation, know who your politicians are. Ask them what bills they're writing. What are they presenting? You need to tell them. You know, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. They work for you. You hired them to do a job. You mean to tell me you don't go back and evaluate if somebody's doing their job right? You don't question them if they're not performing their job properly? You mean you're going to keep them on the job no matter what? They work for you. Look at it from that perspective. And if somebody was working from you and you're the supervisor, will you give them free reign on your life or on the company or anything? Because when you do, something's going to happen to you or your family member.
That's right.
And they will not be held accountable.
That's very good advice. So that's good with the Taylor thing. Now, with the other issue that we had today, what can felons do? Because when they get out of prison, Lawanna, what are their chances with being able to? Are there programs out there that you personally know of that felons can get involved in that's going to help guide them through? Because if they don't get a job in a certain amount of time, that's a violation of their parole. But if nobody wants to hire felons, what are they supposed to do?
Well, first of all, they need to know the rules and regulations. Because of COVID, a lot of waivers are there. But there's a lot of programs that can assist them. That's not my expertise as far as what to do, but I can tell them that when they meet with their probation officer, keep in contact, just understand, figure out if you need to go back to school, become an entrepreneur, make up your mind you're not going back. And you're going to do everything possible that's legal to keep you from going back. And It will take some time because a lot of the programs that was in the prison system have been removed. So it's all about getting you back. They want you back. So they want you to mess up. That's why they're stripping all of the programs away and taking them away. It's a revolving door. If you go back, they will make more money on you in prison than if you were outside of prison. So that's why I say you're a commodity. That's why it says modern day slavery. They get paid. They get like $67,000 per child in the public school system. They get $30,000 to $40,000 per prisoner per year in the prison system. Who you think when they want the money? They want the money. So they're going to take everything away from you to make it very hard for you and difficult for you to stay out.
And that's why I'm so glad we're having this conversation, because I think we are not awake. And I think so many people have no idea what's really going on behind the scenes. You don't know what these people are really planning for you. You're all cheesing with them and they're trying to stab you in the back. It's like you don't want to give these felons $15 an hour, but they work for $2 in prison. You know, it's like, don't you want them? I mean,
Because
they already giving you away so much labor in prison. You should want to pay them.
remember,
They
modern
need it
day
more than
slavery.
anybody. Oh, it just,
They brought back,
girl, listen.
I mean, they brought back the chain gang. It's modern day slavery. You making $2 and then you got to buy your food in prison. You got to do this. So you walk out of prison with a bill, but they made $40,000 a year
Yes.
off of you, housing you, and you provided them free of commodity and helped them make more money. So ask yourself if that's not slavery.
That is.
Ask yourself if that's not. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta sleep in the I'm on the plantation when you're in the jail. I have to eat when they tell me when I want to eat. They give me medical attention when they want to give me medical attention. Ask yourself, what is it? Ask yourself what it is. Ask yourself why they want to keep it that way. You have to ask yourself that.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know, it's always a pleasure when you and I get together. We have to do this again. I mean, because we had some technical issues at first, and you know, we worked that out. But I want to bring you back on the show when we do, because it's Black History Month, and this is a good time to educate our people. So I want you and I to get together and come up with some different shows that we can do, and bring different people that have survived, like maybe the civil rights movement from back in the day, to share their experiences. So I want to work with you. I mean, I know you're busy, so I'm not trying to take away from all that, but I definitely want to bring you back because I love your energy. I love your enthusiasm, and I love your passion. I love that your passion that you show. You've always been like that. That's why I just love you to pieces.
Thank you, my sister. I love you.
Love you so much. All right, dear. We're going to get out of here because you got to get to your stuff, and I have to eat because I haven't eaten. Yes, I'm eating a salad. Of course, it's late. But anyway, dear, thank you so much. And all of you out there, thank you so much for tuning into the Ella Johnson Show. This has been a great conversation with my girl, Lawanna Gelzer, as well as Natalie Jackson. She had to leave a little earlier. But next week, come back to the Ella Johnson Show. It's Black History Month. So we're going to have some great shows for you because we need to dig into a lot of different types of conversations because we need to stay woke, like Lawanna said. But next Wednesday, I am going to interview my nephew, Tedrick, who is now a basketball star. He's only 9 years old, and I just absolutely love him. And he's going to be here with Chris Ward, who's an ex-NFL basketball star, to talk about his programs that he's running in Tampa for our youth. I'm so excited to hear about that. But I want you guys to all have a great weekend. If you're going to the Super Bowl, have fun, be safe out there. Enjoy the game. As for me, Lawanna, I don't know about you, but I'll be watching it from right here.
Watching it from home. And if you do go out because of the variants, the changes in the virus, double mask, double mask, double mask, double mask.
Okay, now you just said so. Oh, because of the variant, you're saying double mask now.
You know,
because it is in Florida. Yeah, it is in Florida now.
It's mutating. It's more contagious. Double mask. Be safe.
So you guys heard it. You heard it right here on the Ella Johnson Show, guys. Be safe and double mask. All right, we'll see you next time right here on the Ella Johnson Show. Have a great weekend. Good night, everybody.
Good night.